If you've been putting in the time on the treadmill, sweating, working hard, but the scale just isn't moving, this video is what you need. The truth is, most people make the same treadmill mistakes. Instead of burning fat, they actually waste time. And in some cases, actually make things worse. I know because I used to do them too, and I struggled with this. Before I lost 80 pounds, I spent hours on the treadmill with literally zero results. And now, after coaching hundreds of clients who have struggled just like you, I've seen these mistakes stall progress over and over again. But once you fix them, everything changes. Your workouts finally start paying off, the fat starts dropping, and every step actually moves you closer to your goal. So let's break down the 5 dumbest mistakes that you must avoid. And we're diving in right away with holding the handrail. Do you remember riding your bike as a kid and getting to a big hill, pedaling really hard to get to the top, and then as soon as you get up to the top, you zoom down the hill? No effort, just coasting, wind in your face. It was exhilarating. But here's the thing, that's exactly what holding on to the handrails of a treadmill does. It turns your workout into coasting. The treadmill says that you're doing the same speed and incline, but your body isn't doing the work anymore. And that's why you burn fewer calories, even though the work on the treadmill says that you're doing the same amount of work. So the reason this burns fewer calories, it's kind of obvious, but you're no longer actually walking uphill whenever you're holding onto the handrails of a treadmill. You're holding on for dear life, so your forearms are getting a good workout, but those don't burn many calories. What burns a lot of calories is you carrying that weight up the hill, actually walking up the hill. So if you're holding on for dear life, and I'm sure you've seen people do this, whether it's to the little TV thing or it's to the, the handrails, they are actually making it a lot easier to walk up. A lot of people, their body, if you look at them in the gym, their body will actually match that incline. Like they're like this and the incline's like this, so they're just basically walking up a flat hill. You want to be leaning forward, so you have to lean into it, and that involves not holding onto the handrails. Now, if you have to hold on for them, like for balance or whatever, you feel unsafe, that's fine. Just don't grip onto them and pull on them. A lot of times I'll keep track of my heart rate like that. I don't wear my heart rate monitor anymore around my wrist. So a lot of times I'll keep track of my heart rate, but I'm just gently holding on. I'm not tugging, I'm not pulling. What's much better is to actually match your incline, your speed to your current fitness level. There's no shame in that. If you're at a 2.7 miles an hour and you're at a 1% incline, if that's difficult for you, that is going to work. That's going to bring you to the next level. And if you want to maximize results even faster, I have a high protein cookbook. It is totally free. Link in the description, the pinned comment. These recipes are delicious. Mexican cheesy protein rice, Mexican lasagna. I guess I have a lot of Mexican recipes, but you're going to love it. They're down there in the description. And once you get mistake number 1 in check, mistake number 2 is going to shock you because it explains why your treadmill sessions have stopped working after just a couple weeks. Okay, so I'm going to use these weights, this 30-pound kettlebell and these clubs as an example here. On day 1, your walking treadmill might feel like this. It might feel heavy, it might feel difficult, it's an actual workout. But a month later, this is a 15-pound club, your workout feels more like this. It feels easier and lighter. And eventually, it feels like just this 10-pound club, and it gets even easier. And if you never adapt, you never change, then it's literally getting easier, and that's why you're burning far fewer calories and you end up stalling out. So it's the same workout, fewer calories over time. Your fitness gains make the same mile much easier than this used to be. The solution is to increase your incline or your speed, your distance, or how often you do it. Because as you improve your fitness, you're able to carry way more. So instead of just a 30-pound kettlebell, now we have all of these weights, and then eventually we're gonna be carrying the 30-pound kettlebell as well. Now again, this is just an illustration. You don't literally have to carry these things, although that probably would increase your calorie burn. But the point here is that as you get more fit, you used to only be able to walk at a 2% incline. Now you can walk at a 7% incline. In the same 30-minute session, 20-minute session, fill in the blank, whatever it is, you're able to burn way more calories. Even if you fix that though, mistake number 3 is the real reason you have quit in the past. And it could be what's holding you back right now. Cardio is kind of like digging a hole. Imagine you burn 300 calories on the treadmill. That's like digging this hole right here. But then hunger kicks in, you go home, you grab a snack, and you start filling in that hole with the calories that you just burned. If you add in 400 calories from your snack because your increased hunger, you have now actually overfilled that hole and you no longer in a deficit at all. So even though you worked hard, the hole actually got deeper. You actually moved backwards. You thought you were in a calorie deficit, but you're actually in a calorie surplus. You see, cardio actually increases your appetite. Now, walking doesn't increase it as much as other activities, nearly as much, which is why it's one of my favorite forms. Anything that's zone 2 isn't gonna increase your hunger too much. It doesn't have to just be walking, but walking is pretty easy to control what zone you're in. And that zone 2 is really just like you're able to still hold a phone conversation. It's not like you're huffing and puffing, but it might be a little bit uncomfortable to hold a phone conversation. That's roughly zone 2. So the mistake here, even though it's not exactly a treadmill mistake, if you're using the treadmill a lot, the point is that you need to be tracking your calories in order to make sure you're not accidentally eating them back. One thing that really irritates me about like MyFitnessPal and stuff is that by default, it tracks your steps and then gives you those calories back. From my experience, and this has literally been 10 plus years of using MyFitnessPal, I never do that. I just want it to come from the diet, and it doesn't matter. If I'm eating 2,000 calories and I'm losing weight, great. If I'm eating 2,300 calories and I'm not losing weight, I'm gonna reduce that or increase the calorie expenditure or whatever. You don't need to add back in calories or earn your calories. So the real lesson here is that more cardio and more food just equals wasted time. Now, yes, you will be healthier, you'll be heart healthier, but the point here is weight loss. If hunger and cravings has been your downfall, my craving survival map is totally free. Link in the pinned comment and in the description. It walks you through like feelings that you might be having and then a checklist that by the end of that checklist, you will not actually give into that craving. You'll stay on your diet, no guilt, and the cycle continues to where you actually lose weight this time instead of quitting. If you thought eating more was bad, mistake number 4 is gonna completely change the way you look at your treadmill workouts. Picture this, you spend the morning mowing lawns. It's in the heat, it's uncomfortable. You've earned $50 so far that day, you're gonna earn $50 whenever you get back from lunch. But you go out to lunch and you spend $100 on lunch. Now I don't know what kind of lunch that is, but the point of this story is that you now have to go back to work just to earn the money that you then spent. Now your wallet is empty. And I've actually experienced this, maybe not like $100 made, $100 spent, but I've experienced this myself where, man, it kind of sucks that I'm spending 15 or 20 bucks at lunch here and I've earned so far $40 this day. And so now it's kind of like I've only earned 20. I'm eating lunch because I'm at work. So like I could have eaten at home if I wasn't at work. It kind of just really messes with my mind. We don't want cardio to subconsciously cause us to eat more. That was the last point. We also don't want our cardio to subconsciously cause us to move a lot less. So the mistake here is removing your steps from your normal average everyday steps, whatever that may be. If you normally walk 5,000 steps, but after your treadmill workout, you only walk 3,000, you've probably completely negated that treadmill workout. You probably didn't get much more than 2,000, 3,000 steps on the treadmill anyway. So if you have ever done cardio, if you've ever heard a person say on social media, I stopped doing cardio and started losing weight, I'm not saying they're necessarily like lying or that they're wrong. It's just they probably don't realize what actually is happening. And that's that they started eating less as a result of doing less cardio and probably started moving more outside of the cardio. So the cardio was never the problem. It was that they weren't tracking the other things around it. So again, this point is about tracking your steps and making sure that your movement throughout the day doesn't actually decrease. This is where the idea of like my metabolism is broken comes from. Very rarely is a person's metabolism actually to blame. I want that to encourage you, that you're not just a victim to a slow metabolism. It's probably something that's happening. And that means that the ball is in your court, it's in your control, and you can do this. None of this matters. Literally, none of the last 4 points matter if your treadmill workouts end before they even get started. And that's mistake number 5. So mistake number 5 is starting way too fast. I'm gonna show you this on FitBuddy. FitBuddy is my free AI fat loss coach, which again, you can get down below. But it's gonna really help you in coming up with your plan, asking it questions. It actually goes to you and according to your results and the things that you wanna achieve, your injuries and your goals, all that stuff is built into FitBuddy because it asks you all these things and it gives you a good feedback. So all I asked it here was, I'm 300 pounds and don't walk many steps per day. I wanna start walking 1 hour to 2 hours a day. Do you foresee any potential pitfalls? So I know you can probably see this, but it says jumping in too hard, too fast, going from very little activity 1 to 2 hours a day is a big leap. Your joints, muscles, and even your feet need time to adapt. Foot, ankle, knee, and hip pain, this might be you. You might relate to this. Blisters and skin irritation, overuse injuries, which is really just everything we just talked about, but also shin splints, tendon pain, plantar fasciitis, and then boredom or mental burnout. And that is so true. If you're not used to this, this could really feel like something that like adds up for you. Your big goal here is to actually ramp up slowly. I know that you're all in, you want to make this happen, and you're gonna make it happen. I have good news for you. Your size is your superpower. Walking even just a little bit from what you're used to, what you are used to doing, that's what got you where you're at. So if you make one change, even if it's small, it's gonna move you in that direction of that change. So you're gonna get progress. It's not necessarily more equals faster. Although it might be faster in that week or those 2 weeks, long term, it doesn't mean that it's faster. It also might cost you muscle if you lose weight too fast. So I'm not saying not to lose weight quickly. If you have a lot of weight to lose, you can lose 1, 2, 3, 4 pounds a week or even more, especially in those first few weeks because that's a lot of water weight as well. But it still feels good and you lose weight and you lose puffiness and all that stuff. That's getting into a side tangent. The point here is to make sure that you ease into it. Start with 30 minutes 4 times a week or something like that if you're like really gung-ho. But if you don't feel like you have even time for that, that's okay. Start with 20 minutes twice a week. Then you can move that to 25 minutes, then 30 minutes, then 3 times a week, 30 minutes. And then, just keep going up from there. And remember when we talked about increasing the intensity, you could also increase the length of time that you go. You could increase the incline on your treadmill. You can increase the speed on your treadmill. You could add a rucksack and add more weight to your back, especially as you start to lose weight. If you were used to carrying 300 pounds, why not just keep yourself at 300 pounds? That might start to get a bit ridiculous, but that would be a great problem to have. Imagine losing 100 pounds and then adding a 100-pound backpack, or the entire time you're adding 10 pounds to your backpack every time you lost 10 pounds. I just kind of came up with that just now. It's not even in my notes. I've never done that, but that sounds like a pretty cool idea. Your body's used to carrying that weight anyway. So maybe that's a superpower that you could dive into even more. If you're into like knowing science-based ways of losing weight, and you want to make sure that what I'm telling you is science-based, this video right here goes into the #1 scientific law that's going to help you lose weight, and it is guaranteed 100%. No one avoids it. That's really going to help you.